Happy Sunday, and welcome everyone to episode 41 of Video Game Club. As always, I am your host, Tyler, and I have with me today Mr. BFG himself, Austin.
Hell yeah.
And from behind the editing station, Doomslayer's biggest fan, Andron.
Wouldn't say the biggest, but yeah, I'm here.
I think Chris is honestly the biggest Doomslayer fan. I wish he could be here for this episode, but man, I know he would love to be talking about this.
Gosh, that'd be great. We miss you, Chris. Come back. Unfortunately, Mox isn't able to be here for this one, but she should be here for our next game. It was like her nomination, so I'm pretty sure she'll be here for the next one.
Mox, you better be here for your nomination.
Before we get started, how's everyone doing? It's a new year. I guess it's been a new year for a while, but January's coming to a close. You kind of get that restart with February coming around. So if you failed on your little resolutions or whatever projects you had going on, February's a good restart, I feel. Have you been playing anything besides Doom, Andron?
Yeah, I've been playing two games kind of together. I picked up Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm not happy with Ubisoft for other reasons, so I picked up at $15 versus full price. It's not bad. And then I got Pokemon Arceus Legends because Pardon picked up for me, so we've been playing through that.
How do you like the new Pokemon?
It's really interesting. I wouldn't say it's like a great game, but it's like a good Pokemon game, if that makes sense. Like, it's a far better one than Sword and Shield was, so it's pretty fun. It's pretty interesting.
I started it this weekend, and so far I'm having a good time. Like, it gives me it feels like a Pokemon Breath of the Wild with some Monster Hunter almost.
Yeah, and you can actually develop some strategies so you never have to actually fight with Pokemon if you do it right. So it's kind of interesting, just catching stuff without ever entering battle. So it's pretty fun.
Does it have multiplayer?
You can trade, like we've been trading, but I'm not sure about fighting. We were not very deep in. But okay. Yeah, we definitely trade with each other so far.
What have you been playing, Austin?
I have basically I have a ticking deadline of when I'm going to not have as much time on my hands later this year. So I've made a list of stuff that I want to beat before then.
Yep.
And I've been trying to work through that. I've been working through the Mega Man X series. So I had already beaten X1 some time ago. I finally played through 2, 3, and 4.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were all brutal.
Of course,
especially the Sigma. Oh my god. Oh god, one of them just really drove me crazy. Because I beat Sigma multiple forms, finally by the skin of my teeth, and they were like, "Oh, by the way, your fire's rising up. You have to escape successfully." And I didn't succeed, and I had to redo the fight, and I was just really, really mad. I'm still working through Yakuza, so I'm on Yakuza 4 now. I said I was going to take a break after 2, and then I played 3, and then I said I was going to definitely take a break, and I didn't. And I also just finished up Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So, working on Origins now. I'm almost caught up with the series.
Won't be long.
Won't be long now.
Nice. I already mentioned I've been playing Pokemon Legends, and I started Returnal today. And so far, I've only played the first 40 minutes, but so far I really like what I've played.
That's a good game. I picked up a full price. Oh well, I didn't pick it up. I got it for Christmas, and it's just a very different type of quote unquote AAA game, I guess at this point. I'd be interested to see what you think of that later.
Yeah, I got it for Christmas. Me and my parents, we did that's why we couldn't be here on Sunday like we usually do this, but we had our own little Christmas, so I was gone, and I got that and the new Ratchet and Clank for PS5.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm excited to play through this. But we're not here to talk about any of that. No, we are here to talk about Doom 2016 for this thing that we do called Video Game Club. Video Game Club, if you're new, is just a little thing that we do where every 2 weeks we discuss a game voted on by our wonderful friends in the Bombchu Discord and discuss that game right here, live, in front of the world on twitch.tv/BombchuTV. And if you can't catch us live, don't worry. You can find it up on YouTube and all major podcast services. Thanks to Andron and his magic and everything that he does behind the scenes to make that possible, so that you don't have to be here whenever it's 4 a.m. European time or whatever time it is. You can just watch it at your own leisure or listen to it if that's what you're into. Also, if you appreciate what you're hearing, please consider subscribing, rating, commenting, all the things that you can do just to help people like you find Video Game Club. It really helps us out. So as a reminder, the nominations for this episode were Doom 2016, which we will talk about, Bulletstorm, which would have been interesting. I wonder how well that game has aged, just in general. Yeah,
Andron, have you played Bulletstorm?
I have not. I've had that game for, I swear, 5 or 6 years at this point. I've yet to touch it.
I guess I'm the only person here who's played it.
I played the very, very, very beginning. I know that you can kick people into walls and stuff like that. But yeah, that's about it. I'm curious where it goes from there. And then we almost got to play Austin's favorite game, Stubbs the Zombie, but we didn't quite get there. Fortunately.
Every time we talk about Stubbs the Zombie, I think that you think that I hate that game.
That's not true. I think that you do like it. I'm being sincere this time. This time I am being sincere. No, but Doom 2016 won the vote from the Discord, so we're here to talk about that. Doom, if you aren't aware for some reason, if you just got out of a crazy, crazy long coma or you were born yesterday, and you're crazy intelligent for some reason and can already understand words, it's a first-person shooter developed by id Software and published by Bethesda Softworks. And this was the first major installment in the Doom series or franchise since 2004's Doom 3. So that would have been, it came out in 2016. So, carry the one. That would have been
12 years.
12 years, yeah. If you were a Doom fan, I can only imagine you were probably just please, something.
Especially with rumors of development all that time.
Yeah, which we'll get into that. It was released on PC, Xbox One, PS4, May 13th, 2016. And it arrived 1 year later on the Switch and 3 years later after the Switch on Stadia. It was developed using the id Tech 6 engine. So what else was going on in 2016? Hardware, we had the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One S, the HTC Vive, Oculus Rift. Software, we had Persona 5, Uncharted 4, Inside, Dark Souls 3, Overwatch, and a few games we played for Video Game Club already. Any guesses?
2016. Not Soma. Soma would have been a little bit earlier than that, right?
I think so. Not Soma, though, you're right. One of them was the first one we did with Mox.
Okay, Firewatch. Man, the last time we talked about this just recently.
I know.
And then you were like, we're going to forget before next episode. And I sure did.
The other one was it's a lost episode, the very first one that no one has.
Titanfall 2?
Yep, Titanfall 2. And then the last one is, I think it was a
What
Chris
Remains
pick.
of Edith Finch?
Nope. We always guess that one. I think it's 2015 or 18, that game.
Okay.
It's a boss rush.
Fury?
Yep.
Ooh, what a good one that was.
Yeah, Fury was great. Gosh, that end boss, rough, super rough. But yeah, that is Doom. So, like we mentioned already, it's a first-person shooter. It features 3 modes: single player, multiplayer, and a level editor, which we'll talk a little bit about. But before we get started talking about all that, let's just start with the single player. So, I really like this quote from the executive producer of Doom, with Marty Stratton, which he said, "The key principles of Doom single player mode are badass demons, big effing guns, and moving really fast." I feel like that correlates really well with my experience with the campaign. Would you guys agree?
Agreed. Absolutely.
The game takes place in a research facility on Mars and later has levels on Hell. The combat is very focused on movement and speed and like momentum. Discourages camping for sure, or hiding of any kind, and it definitely rewards aggression. For example, there's this mechanic that was introduced to this one called the glory kill. Like an enemy will be like stunned, and if you glory kill them, you'll get like health pickups, and eventually you can. I think there's an unlock where you get like armor as well. I didn't get that one, but there's a large arsenal of weapons that can be switched on the go, which is really cool. And you can't like reload them. They do like reload after you use them. Like after you shoot that super shotgun, for example, it does reload, but you don't. There's no like reloading on your end. You're just basically shooting constantly. Two really popular weapons. I mean, there's a couple of weapons that make a return, but two of the really powerful ones, the BFG and the chainsaw, do make a return in this one. And so do a lot of enemies as well from the original game. The Revenant, the Pinky, the Cyber Demon, they all make a return. The campaign consists of 13 levels total. Many of these levels have multiple pathways, open areas, lots of like little collectibles and secrets that you can explore, which is like, in line with the first one as well, right? There was secrets. I think in almost every level there's a secret.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, yeah. Many of the collectibles that you find along the way help with like your progression, such as like weapon mods, or there's like these rune powers, which are like little power ups. There's like suit upgrades as well that you can find. The weapon mods are really interesting because they allow you to unlock like alternative fire modes for your guns, which is really cool. Like for example, you can have like an explosive shot, or like maybe it shoots faster, or it does like just a totally different like way of shooting. What was one of your guys' what was your go-to gun, first of all, Andron, would you say?
At the beginning, it was definitely like the assault rifle. I had to like read a thing to remind myself all the weapons in that game. But by the end, like I was swapping between like all of them, and like every combat thing. But definitely like the assault rifle, and then I started using the micro missiles because that was super fun.
Oh yeah,
which
is a I think that's a weapon mod for those.
Yeah, exactly.
Rifle.
And it was really fun to use that, and I used the scope obviously.
Oh yeah,
that was the only one in the game.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. What about you, Austin?
So I was mostly using the shotgun with the explosive shot mod. Every once in a while, like sometimes I'd be fighting a few really big things at once, and so I could not wait for the next explosive shot to come up, and I'd have to swap to my rockets, which I used the lock on and spew multiple rockets at once. Or if I was fighting one of the Hell Princes, the Barons of Hell, I think they are, then I would also spray in a few super shotgun shots as well. And the grenade was also super useful.
I mainly ran super shotgun.
Interesting.
Like I just loved that gun, and then I would switch to the rockets, and I think it was like the railgun. Is that the one that shoots like that beam? It's like blue.
Yeah.
I would switch to that too. I really like that.
So were you doing a lot of glory kills, or were you mainly like just exploding them with your gun?
Just constant glory kills, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and I use the runes, which you acquire during doing these like challenges, which are some of them are really tough too, the challenges. But anyway, I used some of the runes that help with like glory kills. So it made it
nice.
Yeah, it helped a lot. And of course, the BFG and chainsaw as needed, as I'm sure you guys used on occasion as well.
I think I used the chainsaw like 2 times.
Really?
I always get very antsy about using the chainsaw and the BFG. Like I only use the BFG on bosses pretty much. And I'll tell you about a stupid strat that I did with that. But with the chainsaw and the BFG, it's like if I don't have a guarantee of getting ammo, I don't want to depend on it to where it's like gonna run out of ammo, and then I'm in a situation where I'm like, well, now I need it.
Sometimes they give you a lot of ammo.
Yeah,
they do.
I was gonna say,
and I should have just used it more. Like this is my second time playing through it, but for some reason I still get in that mentality. So Doom Eternal does something really cool here. The chainsaw in Eternal if you run out of fuel for it, you will always get at least one charge that like regenerates on its own. And so
For what gun?
The chainsaw.
Okay.
Yeah. And so basically you're more encouraged to like use it frequently. In fact, you kind of have to use it a lot in that game. I'll talk more about the differences between Eternal and this one a little bit later.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested in that because after playing this, I want to dive into Eternal. I haven't started it. Andron, did you play Eternal yet?
Yeah, I think Austin actually got it for me, and I played a lot of it for a while. But I don't. There was some other game that came out that distracted me, but I was like, oh my god. Yeah, it's definitely like a different flow, but it's very much still that frenetic killing in here.
Gotcha.
Now, I did use the chainsaw every time I saw like those really horrible enemies. So I'd be like, first guy that's gonna die is you. Chainsaw them. Then everyone else gets the regular guns. But I'd always like wipe out the hardest guy with the chainsaw.
That is something really cool about this game is that like you can use the power weapons on the enemies you just don't like to fight.
Yep.
Like you're like, I just don't like dealing with you, crazy enemy who charges me and who is invisible and whatever. Like
the pinkies, yeah.
Yeah, like you can just die. Yeah, each game level also contains a hidden lever which opens an area from like that like is like a classic level from Doom or Doom 2. I didn't find any of them at all. Did you guys find these classic levels?
I found one on my first run. The first time I played it, I did not find it this time, but I also was not going nearly out of as much out of my way to find secrets this time.
I didn't start doing that until later, and I'll explain that and when we get to our opinions and stuff. But I don't think I found one of these, or if I did not know that that's what it was. But multiplayer does exist for this game. I wasn't able to play it though, unfortunately. I tried 4 different times searching for a match. I was on Xbox, so that could be part of it.
So Andron and I played the multiplayer for this way back in the day. And for a while, so at some point, all the DLC for this game was for the multiplayer. And then at some point, they decided the DLC was going to be free. It was built into the base game now. And we dove back into the multiplayer sometime after that. And for a long time, all of my rarest achievements on Steam were multiplayer achievements from like those later DLCs when I guess most of the people had kind of left it.
Wow.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than the multiplayer for Doom Eternal, I would say. Which is they decided to get rid of deathmatch in Doom Eternal and just went, okay, it's Doom guy versus 2 people playing as demons, and that's it.
Right, you did mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know they like gave they also gave like all the DLC for free, right? Later on, the multiplayer one.
Yeah,
and they reset everybody as well, like their ranking or experience or something. I read.
Oh, maybe I'm not sure.
There was also a level creation tool. It was available on all platforms except Switch. It was called Snap Map, and it allowed you to create some levels on your own. Did you guys experiment with that at all?
Yeah, for a little bit. That was pretty cool.
Checked out something, yeah.
There were some interesting, like one of the ones that we did was surprisingly in depth. There was like different things that could happen based on how well you did in each level, and so like there was kind of a metagame to it and everything, and it was pretty impressive.
Nice. I'll have to check it out. I like looked at it a little bit, but I didn't dive that deep into it. Okay, so let's move on to the development. I'm just going to kind of go through this quickly. This game it's crazy, the development of this game. Because I want to make sure I leave time, Austin, for you to give us your lore knowledge of Doom. So everyone knows John Carmack, I'm sure. He's the co-founder and lead developer at id Software, or should I say was. And he indicated that Doom 4 is in development at QuakeCon August 3rd, 2007. Okay, so the Doom 3 came out in 2003, I think. And so 2007, they announced, okay, Doom 4 is on the way. It was announced officially May 2008. It was kind of suggested that it would be like Doom 2 Hell on Earth, and that it would take place on Earth. And Carmack said that it would feature gameplay that's more like the original Doom instead of like the survival horror gameplay of Doom 3. That was a very different game from what I hear. I haven't played it personally, but I hear it's very different.
Especially if you play actual Doom 3 versus like the BFG edition.
Oh.
In original Doom 3, you don't have a flashlight on your gun. You have a flashlight that you can take out, and then if you swap to guns, you don't have a flashlight. If I remember correctly, in BFG edition, they actually strap a flashlight to at least one of your guns.
And
there's a lot of scenes that you need to have a flashlight out while there's monsters around.
This also must have been the time like around Rage, when the first Rage came out, whenever they were talking about Doom 4, because there's a lot of quotes and comparisons to Rage. There's also a lot of like 30 frames versus 60 frames talks as well. So in 2008, Carmack claimed that Doom 4 would look 3 times better than Rage, even though it was intended to run at 30 frames per second on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, rather than the 60 that Rage was targeting. Carmack also said that the game would be running id Tech 5 game engine. Now we know that it got id Tech 6. He also revealed in 2009 that there would be a multiplayer component, and the multiplayer component would be 60 frames per second. Frame rate must have been a hot topic at this time.
Around that time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I was reading like all this, and everyone, like, there were several quotes about like the frame rate's going to be this, and at this section it's going to be like this, and it's just kind of crazy. On June 23rd, 2009, ZeniMax Media, which is the parent company of Bethesda Softworks, acquired id Software and announced that all future id games would be published by Bethesda Softworks, including Doom 4. Then, it's so crazy. At the end of 2012, the team decided to make Doom 4 a reboot instead of like a direct sequel. Then, November 2013, Carmack left id Software. Do you guys remember where he went?
Oculus.
Facebook?
Yep. Yeah, he went to Facebook to work on Oculus VR. And then on April 2013, which I guess is before Carmack left a little bit, but Kotaku published an expose just about how Doom 4 is just trapped in development hell. That it had it's just been like mismanaged, and that they had to completely restart the development in 2011. So basically, like, everything that you knew about was just completely restarted. And at E3 2014, they finally showed a trailer of Doom, and I think this is when it switched to be called this is when it switched from Doom 4 to just Doom. They also showed an expanded trailer at QuakeCon later that year in 2014. And the reason why it was switched is just that they wanted this to be like an origin game, and that it was just kind of like a reimagining of the originals instead of a sequel. Something else interesting happened around this time is that there was a developer who was the head of R&D graphics at Crytek. He left to join the Doom team and make the id Tech 6 engine as the lead programmer.
Oh wow!
And I think that's why, like, I don't get that many like Crytek like feels from this engine, but it does look really good.
And it
visually
performs very well as well.
Yeah, which is a Crytek thing. E3 2015, there was a 15-minute gameplay trailer, and then at QuakeCon, it was announced that the game would run 1080p 60 frames, and it considered that, hey, this is like a graphical goal, like this has to happen for the way that we want this gameplay to be. Like, it has to be 60 frames. But it's just crazy how it started like 2007, 2008, and it didn't come out for 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. But the thing is, though, even though it went through this development hell, it reviewed really well. Like, whenever it finally came out, it was mostly positive, 8s and 9s. People really loved that it had some fast-paced gameplay. The gunplay was really good. The soundtrack.
Did you get to see any of the articles from like right before it came out?
I know that the beta, that like people like didn't like it at all during the beta. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the beta was multiplayer only, and it didn't run very well, and there were a lot of problems with it. But like, they weren't showing anything about the campaign. and I think there was a review embargo as well, which was like a big hot topic at the time. It was like, if they have a review embargo that goes up like on the day it comes out, the game's garbage. It's gonna be garbage.
Right.
And so like everyone thought this was going to be so bad.
And now that's like kind of like a normal thing, I feel like, for a lot of games.
Yeah.
Review embargoes day of now. People love that it modernized the old Doom. The artistic design was really good. The exploration. Some of the cons that people pointed out was that the multiplayer mode was just kind of okay. That some of the levels like had these like lock away sections, so you would like progress and then you couldn't in the level, but you couldn't like go back, and it didn't tell you, and so it like kind of takes away this like exploration aspect of it. And then also apparently with the multiplayer, the network handling with latency was just awful. Like you would shoot people and it just like would not count or whatever. It sold really well. It was the second best-selling game in the US in May when it came out, right behind Uncharted 4, of course. By the end of May, it sold 500,000 on PC. August 2016 sold 1 million. July 2017, 2 million. And then November 2017, Doom was the fourth best-selling Switch game during its debut week, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Have you guys played the Switch port?
No. I've heard good things, though.
Yeah. I haven't played it myself.
I had it on my wish list for a long time, and they just never discounted it enough for me to want to buy it.
Yeah.
Because I already bought this game.
Yeah.
The lowest they discount it to is like $30, and then on PC it's like you can get it for way cheaper than that during sales. So it's just like I don't feel good paying that much.
I hear you. All right. Anything you guys want to talk about before we go into Austin's lore section, aka the plot?
So I'll let you do the plot generally, and then I'll fill in like the what's not in the game. How about that?
That's fair. But anything about like reviews at that time that you guys remember, or just the whole development hell?
Not about reviews, but I know like technical. You mentioned like the frame rate earlier, and Doom was one of the first games to support Vulkan. And I know that was the whole point of Vulkan, was to like increase frame rates on crappier computers. You know what I mean? So I know that must have been what pushed them over the edge, at least on PC, because more people could buy it, and enjoy it there. And not many games use Vulkan, or at least I don't pay attention to many games that use Vulkan as much anymore. But yeah.
Yeah. I guess the other thing to talk about is so there was another version of, like, before it got rebranded as just Doom, and back when it was still Doom 4 and still like being plagued with all these problems. Part of that kind of slipped out what it was. Apparently it was like a Call of Duty style game.
Yes, I did read
and
some
it was
of that.
Supposed to just be like super depressing and like just was not a good time. not an action-packed good time. So I'm glad that they changed the direction of it.
You and me both. All right. Well, let's put on that spoiler tag. If you're really into the Doom lore or the plot of this game, please tune out just for a little bit, and we will turn it off as soon.
Honestly, the whole drive here is the gameplay. Like the lore is kind of cool, but a lot of it is not like the core story, but like what's going on around the story.
Totally agree.
So I wouldn't tune out for spoilers if I were you, but if that's like super important to you, then that's totally respectable.
So Doom takes place during the year of our Lord 2149 on a research facility in Mars owned by the UAC, or the Union Aerospace Corporation. It's run by a scientist called Dr. Samuel Hayden, who lost his, I guess he's passed on. He had like brain cancer or something, but he now inhabits like an android body. The facility is there to attempt to draw energy from hell which is like because they discover like some I don't know, they find out some way that you can get energy from hell. I forget like how that happens, but they do. And the reason why they need to do that is because there's some sort of energy crisis on Earth. So people on Earth are living so bad, there's such a crisis that they have to go to hell to get energy on a separate planet for some reason. I guess the planet piece is probably for safety, I would imagine. And it's a good thing they did that because the demons do show up. So it would not be good if you get a knock on your door and it's one of those floaty ones or whatever. I forget what they're called. Gosh. Or an imp or whatever. They use this thing called how do you say it? Argent Tower? Yeah. They use the Argent Tower, which gets this Argent energy, which is the energy from hell. It also allows this like you to travel to hell as well. And while this is all going on, they're harvesting this energy from hell. They're also having these like expeditions where they're getting like demons for studying, and they're getting like artifacts, and they're just like trying to understand like more and more and more of what's going on in hell. One of the things that they get is the sarcophagus that contains the Doomslayer, along with his armor, the Praetor suit as well. And he was imprisoned there on an earlier rampage. And Austin, I believe you have a little tidbit of information you can share here.
I can get in on this. Yeah. So at the end of Doom 1, Doom Guy's, at that time he was called Doom Guy.
Mm-hmm.
His family, he came home to find his family and his pet bunny murdered. And so he set out to take revenge. And so throughout Doom 2 and Doom 64, which was later made canon to the series with the re-release, they added some new levels that linked it in with Doom 2016 and Eternal. Basically, at the end of that, Doom Guy is banished to... Hell has had enough of him, so they banish him to somewhere else. It's not Earth and it's not Hell. It's just somewhere else. And some small spoilers for Doom Eternal right here. I won't really get into it very much, but essentially, Doom Guy proves himself to these people that are in this other dimension, or this other place, and he joins this group called the Night Sentinels. And long story short, they go to hell to try and defeat everyone there. They are betrayed. Doom Guy doesn't care and just decides to just keep killing demons infinitely. So he's killing demons on and on and on. The demons are getting so tired of it, so they send a Titan to kill him. And instead, he kills the Titan.
Mm-hmm.
The Titan is like their biggest, baddest guy, right? In one of the levels, you actually can like travel around his skeleton. It's this gigantic skeleton. This is in Doom 2016. And that's how he gets the name Doomslayer. So basically, this is why all of Hell is terrified of the Doomslayer. So they know they can't kill him, and they lure him into a trap and collapse basically a gigantic building on him, and they put him into a sarcophagus. They don't kill him for some reason after they do this. It's not explained why. My personal theory is that they think maybe they can convert him or use him somehow on their side. I'm not sure, but it's not explained why they don't just kill him. Or maybe they're unable to.
Maybe it's like a good weapon to have, though. Like if you're like, oh, we'll just drop him into this other rival demon, let them deal with that guy.
Same reason the humans just never off all the aliens in Alien. Right?
Exactly.
Andron, you just reminded me something that I found like really cool about this game was that if you show up somewhere and you look like in the distance, you can see like the demons fighting each other.
Yeah. It's almost like they have their own war going on around you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's a little poke back at Doom 1. Like in Doom 1, if demons got caught in the crossfire, they would turn on each other and just like fight, which was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. But anyway, when they find you, Samuel Hayden kind of keeps you in his back pocket because he has reason to believe that somebody's going to turn on him,
right?
Which does happen, and you're his little get out of jail free card to take care of the demon problem.
Oh yeah, and he uses it. One of his researchers, the researcher that Austin's talking about, Olivia Pierce, makes a pact with the demons and opens this portal to hell. Hayden gets desperate, and so he's like, Doomslayer has to come out. We need him. So you come out of the sarcophagus to repel this demonic invasion that's kind of going on, and to close this portal. You get your suit back. You get this like AI to help you as well, who like controls the facility, and you basically like prevent this meltdown from happening. And then you basically have to go back to hell as well to destroy like a bunch of other stuff. You like go back and forth from hell to Mars. Hayden like kind of like gives you like bits and pieces of information. You also like don't really listen to him a lot of the time.
Yeah.
with no words, the amount of distaste for what people are trying to tell Doom Guy to do, just in the animations that he has.
Yeah, just rage.
It's awesome.
It reminds me of the the egghead stuff, Austin from Halo.
Oh yeah,
gosh, where they're just complaining constantly. Anyway, this end part like kind of happened really quickly, and I read through it, and I don't fully follow it, but you basically have to defeat a bunch of bosses and get this item called the Crucible, and I think you use it to like destroy the portal, and I think you have to like I don't know like what Doom Guy's plan is to do with this, but you get back and Hayden's like, yeah, I'll take that. I need that. And yeah, sorry about you. We still need energy, so we kind of still need hell to be around. And
yeah, I thought Hayden like forces you back with like that tether, and then he's like, hey, you can't destroy hell. No.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then he takes it and traps you. Yeah. Or shoots you off in them. God knows where. Yeah.
Since we're in the spoilers tag, and basically Hayden's like, I'll see you again, and that's kind of the end of the game for the most part. There's this crazy boss at the end, this crazy spider boss that's like part Pierce, part spider. Was that your favorite boss, Austin?
So I did I did something real dumb this time. After I had beaten it the regular way, I had since seen a speed run. And I learned a nifty trick where if you shoot a BFG shot, not at the boss, but to the side of the boss, like just to the side, and then you bring out your weapon wheel, time slows down, but the BFG shot just keeps on damaging the boss with its like, link damage. And so you can just
pretty good.
Take a shot to the side and then destroy the boss in one BFG shot.
You little cheater.
I felt really bad.
That's amazing.
Fighting the bosses that way, but
you already beat it once.
I was like, I beat it once. This is kind of its own fun. But I've personally, I really like the Cyber Demon.
Is that the one that splits in two? Or is that the one before that?
No, it's like the first boss that you fight.
Yeah. I also like that one the best as well. Andron, do you have a favorite boss or enemy?
I can't remember. I played it. I didn't get to replay it this time. I remember like there's kind of a boss you fought like in an arena, then you would bring up like walls to stop you from moving. And I thought that was cool, but I can't remember that was this one or Eternal.
That's this one. That's this one.
Okay. But yeah, I remember he was like bringing up walls and it was like, oh crap, can't move left or right. So I was like, all right, we're dealing with you now. So it's pretty
fun. You have to move up and down during those parts and dodge what was going on. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was really good. All right. Well, I'm turning off them spoilers tags.
Well, you already did. It's fine. I don't have to talk about it.
Go ahead, Andron. Okay. It's going back on for you.
I was just going to talk about the opening sequence. I know it's probably not that spoilery. It's the beginning of the game, but I just wanted to acknowledge how good and quick that was compared to most games. So it's just a quick like, hey, you're playing the game.
Shoves the screen out of the
way. Yes,
just really well done. It just like sets the pace for the whole rest of the game. It's really well done. I was impressed. So.
Oh yeah.
One last lore thing. So depending on who you ask, Doom Guy might be related to BJ Blazkowicz and Commander Keen.
What?
Did they confirm that? I thought id may have.
So the creator, like John Romero and I forget who the other guy who said it was, but it was one of the original developers of Doom. They said
Carmack?
that no, it wasn't Carmack. It was somebody else.
Okay.
And I don't
I
remember.
thought it
his
may
name,
be
but-
Romero as well, though. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, Romero was at least one.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh yeah, he's the grandfather, or sorry, Commander Keen is his grandfather, and BJ Blazkowicz is like his great grandfather or something.
Yeah,
like
which
that.
is ridiculous.
Yeah. And there's different things that support it, but it's not currently official canon.
Mhm.
But there's also nothing that says no, that's not the case. So it's more fun to go with. Yeah.
Since the tag's still up, I guess it may be internal again, but I know like there are little hints towards like those other games too, like in the game, like little collectibles related to like Commander Keen and little like weird things you see.
Yeah.
So,
Huh.
yeah, if you keep your eyes out, there's plenty of little
I
toys.
found the Commander Keen grave.
Yeah. So yeah, it's in there.
Well, there you go. There you go. All right, spoiler tag coming off. It's time to give our personal takes. I'm going to go first this time. I really like this game. I love the shooting mechanics. I love the abilities, but I think they're a little late. They give you one that really helps with movement and momentum, and it happens a little too late, I think. But overall, the flow of combat's really good. It took me like a bit to get used to like what the loop was. Like it's like go to an area, they'll send like a bunch of guys at you, kill them all, and then you can kind of like explore a little bit to find like secrets and stuff, and then go to another area, do the same thing, rinse and repeat. And of course the areas are different, and so it's really fun and has like a lot of uniqueness to it. But it took me a bit to get used to that because I thought it was just going to be like go, and I missed out on a lot of like the secrets and little things that you find and upgrades. So I could have been like a lot more powerful at the end of the game than I was had I have taken the time. But I didn't at the beginning. I wasn't like quite sure how to play it, if that sounds like I don't know. I had 5 bugs where I had to turn off the game.
Really? Did you play on PC or?
I played on Xbox, and
okay.
Every one of them that I had was a glory kill that like went through the level.
I did go through a floor one time.
Yeah. And sometimes I would be like stuck in between, like there was like a bridge and I was like stuck in it and I couldn't like get out of it no matter what I did. There was several times I would glory kill, like I would jump and I would glory kill somebody and then I would fall through the level. That was really frustrating because one time I had to go, like, you have checkpoints, which is great, but one of them was like, it was like one of the last enemies of that section. I had to go all the way, redo it all, and I was just like, man. And there were some annoying guys in there, so I was like, ugh. But all the glory kill, again, like the other thing I will say is that my build was very focused on glory kills. Like I basically like was all about that, which I know like I was reading that people like kind of criticized it a little bit because it slows things down, right? Like you go from like shooting to like an animation that takes some time, but I think with the runes that you get, it helps a lot. But for me, overall, I would give this an 8 out of 10. And I think if I wouldn't have had those bugs that were really annoying, and if I would have got some of the abilities a little sooner, I think I would have given it a higher score personally. But the time those bugs happened was very, very annoying because it happened like it always seemed to be like at the end of a fight, or at the end of like a big room. But
had you played a Doom game before this one, or was this your first Doom game?
So I played Doom. So on Xbox Live Arcade, they released Doom 1 on that, and I think Doom 2 as well. I played through Doom, all of the first one, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome, and they had a multiplayer in that. I'm pretty sure, and I played that multiplayer quite a bit, and I loved it as well. but I never played Doom 2. I didn't play Doom 3, and I have not played Doom Eternal yet. So it was like my second Doom game that I played. So I played Doom 1,
Nice.
and then I guess like the reimagining of it or whatever you want, or reboot or whatever you want to call it, with Doom. I am excited to check out Eternal though, because I hear it's like a bit different. I also heard it's like kind of Metroidvania like a little bit, or that it all, or like it kind of like I don't know, like encourages exploration a little more.
It does encourage exploration more. I would not describe it as Metroidvania.
Yeah.
And I know I'm always picky about that, but even like
That's fair.
not taking off my pickiness hat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like as far as I know, there's no like movement abilities that you need to get and then like revisit an earlier level.
Okay.
To like get everything from that level.
I was gonna say like you get that one you get basically a hook pretty early on.
Yeah, you get some movement options.
But it isn't like you have to go
that.
back to get something you missed. It's just you just move forward.
Right.
Yeah.
You can use it.
I got you
to get everything within that level. Yeah.
What about you, Andron? Well, how do you feel about Doom 2016?
So I did not replay it this time, just because real life happened and I couldn't get my second playthrough in. But when I beat it in 2017, so it's a year after it came out, I did play on like ultraviolence, so my experience may be slightly different than you guys's. But when I built my Doom guy, my main focus was on survival because I would run out of bullets, I'd run out of health, and I was like walking around with a red like health half the time. So I was like, oh crap, I'm dead. Next encounter, next kill room, I'm out of here. So a lot of the focus was mostly like I got like the vacuum room that like sucked in items from afar in case I missed them. So I was like, Jesus Christ, if I miss a bullet, I'm out of here. But I do want to say it's like refreshing to have a game like that because so many games were at that point like Call of Duty or trying to mimic the success of it. So they all had like the stupid loadouts and all this other crap going on. And so this one was just like, you get in the game, you shoot stuff, and you go crazy. So that was really nice. Gameplay wise, it did take a while to get used to not reloading because I was so conditioned to push X to reload no matter what I was doing. I was like, okay, I have one bullet left, reload. Let's go. Next encounter, I'm like, that didn't do anything. What am I wasting my time on? But once you get it flowing though, like some of those kill rooms, it's just ridiculous. And when I say kill room, it's when they lock you into the room and then there's a bunch of enemies you have to survive and make it out. So,
someone's getting killed.
Yeah, exactly. Either me or them. But it was really cool, like just traversing, like jumping up on stuff, like glory killing left and right, running around the room. And when he talked about like frenetic, never stopping, combat, I definitely felt that. And it's good to see someone deliver on that there. And I guess the story is a story. Like I didn't know all the deep lore Austin brought up, so that kind of maybe would have made it better. But like just for what was happening, I found no sympathy for anyone. But I don't think Doom Guy did either, or Doomslayer, I guess at this point. So it's like, hey, good storytelling. I feel the same as my character, so it kind of worked out. I will say Doom Eternal, I feel like it's a really good improvement. So if you like Doom 2016, I think Doom Eternal just takes to the next level. Just with the hook I mentioned earlier, like that changes battles like a lot. But all that said, I think looking back and even just thinking about it, I remember having a really smooth experience. Like it never felt like I dreaded going back to play Doom. Like I wanted to play Doom, and that's usually a sign of a good game. In my opinion there. So, total for me was like a 9 out of 10, which is pretty high. Like also, I don't ever give 10 out of 10. There's no such thing as a perfect game. I could find something wrong with it, but it's definitely a game I know if I replayed it this time, I would have finished again. So, I think a 9 out of 10. And I have not played the other Dooms, so I haven't finished the other Dooms. So it's definitely the first one I finished, and it's really fun. I did finish Wolfenstein 3D on the computer on DOS back in the day. So if that counts, there you go. On the one with his face is really angry or whatever mode that is. So there you go.
My girlfriend for some reason loves that game. Like she always brings that up.
Nostalgic, man. So good.
Gosh. Austin, what about you?
So, this is my second time playing it. I have played Doom 1. I played it I got the collector's edition of Doom 3 when it came out on Xbox, and it came with what set it apart, and the reason I wanted to get it, it had versions of Doom 1 and Doom 2 on it that you could play on the original Xbox. And so that was how I first played Doom 1 and 2. I'd never finished Doom 3, but I did play the start of it, and I'm glad that things shifted more in this direction versus the direction they kind of took with Doom 3. Not that wasn't interesting, just this was a more fun to play. I mean, I had a great time again. After I played Doom 2016 originally, I loved it. It was one of my favorite games at the time, and I was so stoked for Doom Eternal. And it came out, and I bought it at launch, and oh my god, it's so hard. It is like super duper hard.
Really?
And all of my strategies that I used in this one were not usable in that game.
Huh.
Like there was never a time in here. I played on normal. There was never a time in here where I really just was like out of ammo in my shotgun, for example, which was like my go-to gun. If I shifted to something else, it was because I needed more power immediately. But like I could always use my shotgun and always find ammo.
Normal is hurt me plenty, right? Is that what it is?
That sounds right.
I think so.
Anyway,
I think so.
Yeah.
There's kind of even a mechanic where if you're like getting kind of low on ammo, if you glory kill somebody, like they'll drop a little ammo.
Spray it out.
And so, in Eternal, like the enemies are so much more aggressive, and you have a lot more movement and attack options. And you're really expected to use all of them. You also have way less max ammo for all of your weapons, and you can't just easily find ammo for all your stuff all the time. So you have to cycle through your guns, and like different enemies have different weaknesses to different guns in different spots, right? And so they really make you swap around to different guns at different times, and it is so much to juggle. I was dying really often, like all the time.
Is there a chainsaw in Eternal?
Yeah,
there is, and it works a little bit differently there.
Okay,
because
the chainsaw in this one, if you use it, the enemies drop more ammo. Like they,
right, yeah. And so that's one of your that's part of your loop. You have to use the chainsaw to like get ammo back, but because it's required, the first charge of it will always come back. It just takes some time.
I see. Yeah, which is
but like you have to be using it. Along with like the flame belch, there's a bunch of movement options in there. Like you've got a dash, like a double jump, the grappling hook that Andron mentioned. There's some other stuff, and like really, you're expected to just kind of keep juggling all of that stuff. And so at some point, I stopped playing for a while, and I was like, man, I really just miss the simplicity of Doom 2016. And Chris was like, just play it on easy. And I was like, no, I don't want to be
that guy.
I don't want to be weak. And he was like, yeah, it was too hard for me. I played it on easy. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. So let me give that a shot. And I was able to play like a couple of levels, get used to how the game worked. And then I could switch back to normal and have a much better grip on things. It was just so much.
It does have a steep learning curve. I agree. Yeah,
it does. And you really like, you kind of have to get a few more of your items before you're really powered up. And that's kind of where I switched back to normal. So no shame, I had a lot more fun that way. But still, like by the end of it, I was like, I really do miss kind of the more simple way. Like I can kind of play on my own terms, come up with my own strategy. And when I came back to play this the second time here, I really found myself missing Doom Eternal. Like a lot of the movement options that I had there, and like I wanted to use all those extra things that I had to like get around and do things faster or be more aggressive. And so I was missing it. And so that made this feel a little bit like lesser in comparison now. So I'm in this weird place with Doom and Doom Eternal. I don't know what I like, but I do like both of them. Just for different reasons and in different ways.
If they came out with like a Doom Eternal 2 or whatever, the third one,
Vengeance,
whatever they're gonna call it, would you like? Is that something you would buy at launch?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not.
I like money no option.
I can't really like buy games at launch.
But you know
anymore.
what I mean.
That would be one that I would really want to play at launch. That would be one that I would be like if it'd be one of those rare ones of like, ooh, do I get this at launch? I think I might.
Right.
I would be very stoked for that. So I did not enjoy this as much as the first time I played it, but I still really enjoyed it. I would say probably the first time I played it, I would have given it a 9 out of 10. These days, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. The music is amazing.
Yes, very good.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah.
Like some of the music, a lot of it pays homage to old Doom, as well as it's got like new stuff. I think
like when you pick up the dolls.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
so great.
But even some of just like the level music, they've got like subtle little references. But like some of the music was made by running a chainsaw through several different like.
Wait,
Did you
serious?
did you read that like they didn't want to use any guitars?
They didn't want to do metal at all
initially,
and of course it's like a super metal soundtrack.
Yeah, that's funny.
But oh god, the music's super good. The glory kills are super fun. I did a very glory kill heavy rune setup where it was like I could do glory kills from very far away, as well as they would drop armor. And I had something.
You can also
else.
do where it increases your speed, which is really cool.
I didn't do that. I'm trying to remember what my third rune
Did you have
was. But I
the
can't
in-flight
remember off the top of it.
mobility? Let you change direction?
No.
Yeah, I used that a lot.
That was also good. Yeah.
I did find myself I would like in original Doom. I thought Berserk was like one of the stupidest power ups that you could get.
Oh,
and in this one, it's like it's the best.
Yes.
Because you look at somebody and they're not even like ready for a glory kill, but you just look at somebody and when you have that rune for glory killing across the room, oh my god, I'm just flying everywhere, glory killing everybody. It's I found myself kind of being more strategic with those because it was like if one of those was in the room, I knew some mess up stuff was going to come later during the fight. It was going to be kind of a long one. So I'd fight like the trash mobs and like they'd start throwing some bigger stuff. I'm like, no, I'm going to fight you guys normal too. And then the big guys would come. It's like, okay, let's go Berserk time.
Yeah.
The quad damage was also like I made a lot better use of that on this playthrough. Yeah, combat was super fun. Now I know that there's something else out there, and that's Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
And that's what took it down just 1 point for me.
Ruined it for you.
I did have some technical issues. I fell through the floor once from a glory kill, but that was my only technical issue after I fixed my first issue. For like an hour, I was trying to get this game to run properly. I've got better specs than I did when I first played it, and I was having these like CPU bound issues, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And it turns out when they added Razor support at some point, and for some reason, if you turn that off, it fixes all the performance issues. So
dude, that RGB.
Thanks to the person on Reddit who helped me with that.
That RGB man takes up all them CPU cycles.
Apparently. So I don't know. I don't know why they added that. If that was going to cause such a problem, maybe it doesn't cause it for everybody. Maybe there's something like with some people's light setups. I don't know. But it caused massive problems for me. And once I got that fixed, it was just butter smooth. So, if you 8 out of 10 at this point. If you like action games, if you like shooters, and you just like being cool and badass, this is definitely a game to play. If you don't like gore,
do not play this.
Yeah,
don't play this.
Do not.
There's a lot of gore.
There's a ton of it.
It's very over the top. They kind of go more over the top with it in Eternal to where it's almost like cartoonish.
Yeah.
Like if you shoot a grenade at a cacodemon, which are like the flying pumpkin heads, they'll like gulp it and they make like a cartoonish.
Yeah, they do.
And it like bursts from the inside and they're ooh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of silly stuff in there. But play Doom Eternal. And if you're having a hard time with Eternal, don't be afraid to turn it on easy.
And I would say if you want to feel like super powerful, like put this on easy. Like who cares? Do you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no shame in it. It can be hard.
It can be hard.
Doom Eternal has an extra life system, which is very interesting and silly and fun. But even with that, it can be tough.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be people here who are like, just play it on Nightmare, Holy Nightmare all the time. And it's fine to enjoy it that way as well. But if it's too tough, there's no shame.
Absolutely. Do you? All right. Well, that was a little dive in our take on Doom 2016. If you enjoyed hearing us discuss Doom and want to join us for the next Video Game Club episode, stay put, because our next vote just ended, and it was between Chibi Robo, The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages, and the OG Assassin's Creed. Not the Java applet one, right, Austin? This is the
not the Android app.
This is the PC Xbox 360 PS3 version. And it looks like it will be. I'm gonna check in the Discord right now.
Double check that people came to their senses.
They didn't. It's going to be Assassin's Creed 1.
Oh, wow. Y'all gonna have fun with that.
Thank you everyone for joining us. Again, just as a reminder, you can catch us here on twitch.tv/Bombchu TV every 2 weeks at 2 Eastern. The next stream will be on February 13th, as we'll be back on our regular, like, every other Sunday schedule. And if you can't make the live session, don't worry. You can find the episode up on youtube.com and all major podcast services, thanks to the magic of editing and Andron's amazing skills. Before we leave, anything anyone wants to plug? I got
Pokemon.
Let's see here. I would say, check out Pokemon. That's my plug.
Like they need advertising, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, gosh, so true. Austin, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Of course, and for like every Andron, Austin, shifting things around so we could do this on Twitch, and everything, and on a Monday instead of a Sunday. I really appreciate it. Andron, thank you so much for joining us and helping out behind the scenes as always for every episode. But
Absolutely.
we really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm Tyler. This was Video Game Club episode 41, Doom 2016, and we're out.